Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Gentleness Center for Spiritual Living. Please stand and we can sing our opening song together. My soul is welcome here.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just what I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just what I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
It is good to be here. It's good to be here in the physical body, in Genesis Center for Spiritual Living. It's good to be here. Genesis is a community dedicated to love, to inspiring harmony, and creating connections to empower spiritual growth. And we love that you're here to share in that with us. My name is Karen Williams, and I'm your host for service this morning, for the first section of the service this morning. Our online host today is Eric, and he is monitoring the chat for those of you on social media. So please tell Eric that you are here, that you are watching, say hi, and if you want to interact with the service in any way, Eric is monitoring that. If you are here for the first time, please let us know how you found us. Give us your name and how you found us. Yep, that'll be sufficient. We read together our mission and vision statements, so we'll do that now. We'll begin with our mission statement. We are building a vibrant community, cultivating a garden of spiritual growth, honoring vulnerability, creating a safe place of comfort and peace where all are welcome and accepted. Our vision. Genesis is a bright beacon with an unshakable heart of love, accepting all. It's a home for the soul where we each creatively express our spiritual brilliance. We have some announcements today. Reverend James is asking for at least 4 people for a we-spaced embodied mystical practice class. It would be a Wednesday night, and there will be... Okie dokie. Thank you for the correction. Correction! It's a Monday night service, and there will be an introduction on April... Okay, so I'm going to read this. Allow me, please. There will be a Wednesday introduction orientation on April 10 at 6:30 to go over what to expect from this 8-week course that takes place on Mondays. Yeah. So, thank you. Thank you. So that Monday, when it starts on that Monday, it's April 15, and it takes place from 6:30 to 8:30. It's a 2-hour process, and it's 8 weeks, so until June 3rd. You can sign up at the volunteer desk by the door here on site, or RSVP online at genesiscsl.org/education. If you have any, and you can find that tab, it's really simple. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Reverend James after service, or email him at revjames@genesiscsl.org. The full description of the course is at the welcome desk here. You can also find it on the website. Our board of directors will be holding an annual meeting for all Genesis members on April 21st after service. We highly encourage all Genesis family to be there in person to get the financial report for the year, show what we have accomplished as a board and as a community, and let you know what is to come next. There will be a potluck too, and we hope to see you all there. We have a new class starting, and it is on Tuesdays. The Power of Your Decisions. It's actually called Powering Your Decisions. And it's going to start on Tuesdays, and it'll start on April 9th. The class begins at 6:30. If you haven't registered yet, please do so as soon as possible. This class guides students on a journey of self-discovery to unlock their untapped potential and achieve better results with confidence and clarity in all aspects of life. If you are interested in applying decision-making tools to your health, happiness, creativity, and overall self-assessments to deepen spiritual understanding and strengthen a relationship to Spirit, God, and the divine nature of the universe, then this course is for you. This course is being facilitated by our own practitioner, Cynthia Zink. It's being facilitated by Christine S. Young. There's her picture right there. It's great. I'm doing great. Doing great. See? Well done, people. I need you, obviously. Okay. You can register for the class that is being facilitated by Christine S. Young, a practitioner, Christine S. Young. You can register for that here, or you can, again, do that online through our education tab. We are also beginning to engage with the idea of participating in some sort of a spiritual social action. If you don't do this already, this is an opportunity to do it as a group, to introduce yourself to being of service as a group that might spill out into the rest of your life. There is a yellow pad on the back wall here that you can vote for. We've been doing this for a while, so we've kind of taken the ideas and we're funneling them down and trying to find the one that's going to work best for everybody. So please vote back here. Christy Randolph is hosting a mindful eating group on Monday nights via Zoom from 8:30 to 9. This is a brief support group, and the goals are to support each other on staying on our eating path, share our successes, challenges, and eating hacks, and share favorite recipes. Connect with Christine here at service. She's here today, or email her at randolph.christykcase@gmail.com. At Genesis, we have care circles. Care circles connect with community, deepen spiritual growth, and create lasting friendships. If you're interested in joining a circle, please let myself know, Karen Williams, I'm here today. Or you can reach out to me on Facebook through Genesis Family, however you feel called. And lastly, we are completing our book study of the Universal Christ. It has been a fantastic book. And so we should be finishing that up today. And our next book is this gem, this thing called You. You might have the paperback, which is that beautiful little powder blue edition. So we'll begin reading that together next Sunday. Again, I want to remind everybody that this kind of book study, when we're reading together, you don't have to be here every Sunday. It's completely drop-in. There's no requirement. You don't have to complete the whole book. If you missed a day, you don't have to go back and read to catch up. You can just drop in and just join us and have a discussion. It's really, really juicy and good. All right. Do we have any first-time guests online, Eric? Okay. You've been here before, you've been here before, you've been... It's good to have everybody here. So since we know each other, let's stand up and greet your neighbor. Each other, this is it. We can hardly get them back in their seats. I want to thank everybody who's been in service today. We are a community and we rely on each other for the unfolding of this service. And so I want to begin with those who do the setup and cleanup. Let me see, this morning it was Mike, and I didn't write it down, Gideon and Eric and Soren. We all do it together. Whoever shows up kind of lends a hand, and we appreciate that about this community. Our morning greeter this morning was Christy. On our projector and our video is Mike and Eric. Our sound tech is Soren. Our online host today is Eric. Our offering collection will be gathered by Gideon, and our service practitioner is Dave Penick. About that service practitioner, Dave Penick, I don't know, I just like saying the whole thing, Dave Penick. RScP, yes, exactly. Capital R, capital S, lowercase c, capital P. After the service, you can meet with Dave in the alcove over here if you want to pray on anything. We pray about anything and everything. It could be a struggle, it could be a challenge, it could be something that you're celebrating, it might be something that you want clarity for, it could be absolutely anything. So it's just a little brief opportunity to get extra juiced up for the day, for life itself. So please take advantage. of Dave Penick and his service. So we're going to go deeper into our service now. We begin the process with our centering song, and then our anchoring practitioner will come up and lead us into the rest of our service. So please welcome Becca Palm as she'll lead us into our centering prayer.
I breathe and turn within. I breathe and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's presence. I breathe and turn within. I breathe and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's love. I pray and turn within. I pray and turn within. I pray and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's love. I sing and turn within. I sing and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's presence. I sing and turn within. I sing and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's love. I open up my heart and feel God's love. I open up my heart and feel God's love.
How are y'all doing today? Good. Well, my name is Dave Penick, and I will be your practitioner today. So today's reading will come from the Science of Mind, and it is from a section called "The Universe Holds Nothing Against Us," and then we'll have a brief quote afterwards, which should be relevant towards today's message. The universe holds nothing against us, nor how many mistakes we have made. We are still perfect beings within, and the within may become the without, if we will carefully train ourselves to listen to the inner voice which speaks to us in our moments of quietness and solitude. There is nothing in the universe that wishes evil to anyone, and indeed, it is only as we experience good that God is expressed through us. The more completely we realize good, happiness, and success, the more perfectly do we express God, and the more of God do we become. That is, the more does God become more personified through us. Love that. And I'll have just a brief quote leading with the gentleness message that we have going on today. Be gentle with people today. You don't know someone's inside struggles. Instead of being the last straw, you could be their first sign. Hope. So let's take that within and let us pray. So I invite us to just close your eyes and let's just take a couple deep breaths. Let's take a deep breath in and then out. Once again, in and out. And last time, in and out. And we just recognize right now, just being gentle with ourselves. We just recognize that divine presence. We recognize the allness of it. We recognize the beauty and the wonder of it. We just recognize everything that surrounds us, the beautiful sky, the sun, all of it, the gentleness of it. It is all that ever-present Spirit, that God that is within us, right here and right now. And this God is not for just some, it's not just for a few select. It is within all of us. It is within every single being, everywhere, all around us. And it is definitely right here, right now, in this beautiful presence that we call Genesis. And so just recognizing this presence, recognize this beauty, recognizing this love, recognizing this within each and every single one of us here today, I just realized that all that we do, all of our being, all of it is truly that God personified in each and every single one of us, right here and right now. And so just breathing into that, I just give great gratitude. I just give great gratitude for everyone here today. I give great gratitude for all the presence of life. I give great gratitude for the beautiful music playing in the background. I give great gratitude for Karen's introductions. I give great gratitude for the message that James. I give great gratitude for all the people here today. It is all a part of that wonderness of God itself. And so with that great gratitude, I just call it all good. I just release it all into that great Spirit that says yes to it all. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, it is so beautiful. It is so great. It is so good. And we always say more, please, or at least that's what we used to say. And so I'll say it again right here and right now. Let's just have more of that. And so it is. So with that, we'll just continue to hear the beautiful music, the wonderment of Becca Palm.
Come into the quiet, coming from the storm to a place where time stands still. The Spirit is reborn. Come into the quiet, take your place among the stars. Come into this place, come as you are. You don't need directions to find this place in time. You just head on down the road that's laid before you. Circle back around your heart and you'll find peace of mind. Trust that place inside that calls you home. Come into the quiet and wrap your heart around all the love that's here for you, just waiting to be found. Come into this holy place and whisper to the stars. Come into this place, come as you are. You don't need directions to find this place in time. You just head on down the road that's laid before you. Circle back around your heart and you'll find peace of mind. trust the place inside that calls you home. Come into the quiet and let the silence say all those things you long to hear each and every day. Come into the quiet, take your place among the stars. Come into this place, come into this place, come into this place, come as you are.
Thank you so much, Becca. Yeah, we are we are coming to this place, but the place is where we already are. So we are coming as we are. I'm going to talk. It's a new month, and every new month it's a new theme. The theme for the year is a grand rising. And so a grand rising, a regular rising is just when we get up. And a grand rising is sort of when we step into our bigness, step into our power. And this month, this day, we're going to let our gentleness reveal our giant selves. And so our giant selves, our gentle giants is what we are. I think about this because my grandchildren are about 3 feet or 2 feet high. And so to them, it's as though I had 12-foot tall or 18-foot tall relatives. And I remember that as a kid was all the giants in the world. And some of them were gentle, and some of them were not. But it was nice. I always enjoyed the gentle giants. So I want to review what we've done in the year. In January, we started off with our grand rising, and we did the burning bowl last year, and then we moved into the white stone and the letter to God, where we set our intention for the year. And then February was exciting because we moved into uncomfortableness, which is an uncomfortable way to say discomfort. We talked a lot about uncomfortability. And one of the things I wish I'd known then that I know now is that there's a part of your brain that you exercise. It's all about training yourself to do hard things. And we talked about I can do hard things. And having a learning consciousness is really about learning to love doing hard things. I enjoy doing hard things. I like doing hard things. I'm good at doing hard things. Whenever you do something hard, that exercises your anterior mid-cingulate cortex. I know, say that 3 times fast. Anterior mid-cingulate cortex. But there's a part of your brain that grows whenever you do something hard. And I've been thinking about this because in my yoga classes, we're always doing planks, like basically until I fall over. And this is... now I understand what it's doing is it's growing the muscles. It's growing the muscles in my brain. It's growing the neurons in my brain that let me do hard things, that make me enjoy doing hard things. And so this is what we learned in February, is we want to do, our grand rising involves learning to do hard things. We talked about, Martin Luther King Jr. was actually in January, but of course, he always came up in February. We talked about Harriet Tubman, who freed enslaved people, but in a gentle way. I don't believe she ever killed anybody, even though she was a captain in the Union forces, and she freed over 1,000 slaves, or about 1,000 enslaved people. She did it just by coming and delivering the good news. You are free! Follow me! Chadwick Boseman inspired a generation of people with the most popular movie of our times, the Black Panther and Wakanda Forever. Harry Belafonte was really supported. He supported the civil rights movements in ways visible and invisible. You know, a lot of the reason they could do that was he was talking to his Hollywood friends. And there's a connection with Science of Mind. Ernest Holmes had Hollywood friends, and Science of Mind was really spread by Hollywood in some ways. And we'll find out what his secret was. And then Tina Turner, of course, the queen of rock and roll, our Buddhist, who represented Buddhism. She chanted every day, Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. March was, so that's, February is about uncomfortability and how to get better at doing, how to enjoy doing hard things. March was about newness. I can do something new. I can find new things to do. And it reminds me, it's the last day of Ramadan. It isn't. Tuesday's the last day of Ramadan, but this is the last Sunday of Ramadan. And I'm going to do, you guys can do it with me either in the chair, not at all, or the full version, but I'm going to do three prostrations. And this is the Islamic prayer that they say. They repeat it 5 times every day. They're supposed to do it 34 times, but we'll only do it a few times. And it starts with Abraham. And when you think about Abraham, Abraham is how we open our hearts like Abraham, because Abraham, my favorite thing about Abraham, one day he was just sitting in his tent in the desert, and he noticed 3 people walking in the distance, and he said, "That's God and 2 angels. Let's prepare them a feast and go grab them and tell them to come eat with us." And when I first heard this story, I thought, it's amazing, how can he do this? But as you practice noticing divine energy, you can find it, you can notice it. You know, in the middle of your daily life, you're like, oh, that's God energy right there, or right here, or all around us. And so and it's because he opened his heart, and so your heart is your organ of spiritual vision. So first we open our hearts like Abraham, and then like Moses freed us from slavery, and so we let go of anything we no longer need, like being enslaved. He's the Harriet Tubman of the Bible. They call Harriet Tubman the Moses of her people, so he's the Harriet Tubman. Then we come to Jesus, and Jesus taught us that I am that which I seek. So Jesus shows our identity with that which we seek. And then the fourth step is we are grateful for the practices that lead us to this. You know, Ernest Holmes and all our Bible friends help us learn these practices so we can find our true identity. So let's do it twice more. So Abraham, we open our hearts to love. We let go anything we no longer need. We are that which we seek. We find it everywhere, and we are grateful for these practices. Last time, we open our hearts to love. We let go of anything we no longer need. We are that which we seek, and we are grateful for the opportunity to practice. Many of you have heard I spent a night in the meditation room at the Detroit airport last year. And I still remember a stream of people coming in and doing their prayers, and the room just felt so holy. It made a profound impression on me, and so I like that. I like adding that to my practice. It's part of embodied spirituality, and it certainly helps keep me awake during meditation. Before I go into giant gentleness, I'm going to talk about 3 Holmes family members, and 3 technological innovations. And the first technological innovation is a fish doorbell. Now, when I first heard, I don't know, did anybody else hear this on NPR? No, okay, good. It's something you can Google, a fish doorbell. And I'm like, how do you get the fish to ring the doorbell? And it's in Utrecht, which is in Holland. And they have these places, they have these dams, but they want the fish to go through. And the fish over there aren't salmon. They can't jump through the fish ladders. And so what they want to do is have a doorbell where they can ring the doorbell and open the door. Except, how do you train the fish to ring a doorbell? Well, they're clever. They have a webcam showing whether there are any fish waiting at the door. And if there are, anybody watching the webcam can ring the doorbell. People ring doorbells for the fish. And then when the doorbell rings, the operator at the dam goes and checks, and if there are any fish, they open the door and the fish can come in, and then they can close the door so that the water stays where it's supposed to stay. When I checked, there were 950 people watching for the fish so we could ring the doorbell. I didn't actually stay around long enough to see any fish, but they have pictures on the website of what it looks like when fish show up so you can ring the doorbell. And because it's so popular, they're going to install these fish doorbells all over Holland. And that's right, the reason they can't leave the gate open is that the sea level is higher than the inland, and so Holland would flood if they left the gates open all the time. But they certainly like to let fish in, and so they just ring the doorbell. So that is, that's number one technological innovation, is a fish doorbell. Something, until I saw how they did it, I would never have believed it was possible. The theme this month is giant gentleness. So I was talking about how my kids see us as giant, and gentleness. You know, they're looking for gentle people. It's about your gentleness is showing, forgetting who you are as part of the journey, therefore let gentleness be your most trusted travel companion. It's so easy to forget that we are made of consolidated love, that we are, you know, love is our nature, love is at our core. But it's easy to feel fear, it's easy to get competitive, it's easy to be pushy. And so if we can lean into gentleness, that will bring us close to our true selves. And I think giant gentleness, you know, we don't have to shrink to be gentle. Somehow gentleness seems associated with maybe shrinking, but no, we can grow into giant gentleness. When we're conscious of our oneness, there's an openness and all-consuming love. But in the rest of our lives, we deserve giant gentleness. At its core, you know, gentleness takes awareness, compassion, and gratitude for who you are and where you are. It takes courage to choose to be gentle, but it's a worthy exploration. Gentleness reminds us all that we're so much more than we give ourselves credit for. We have the power, we have the ability to be gentle because we are that. We can open our hearts like Abraham. We can let go of any feeling, any fear, anything we no longer need. And we know, like Jesus, that we are that. It allows the pain, sorrow, fear, and doubt to be for your highest good. We can transmute the negative emotions and use them. We can look on the face of terror and know the truth behind what's out there. So, the 3 points to illustrate, you know, how we bring gentleness into our lives. The first is being who you are. Like life happens. We aren't always in the we are so used to being in a narrator, into a fear-based consciousness, into a worldly-based consciousness. It's easy to fall out of our awareness. You know that we are spiritual beings living a human experience, and sometimes it just seems human. And we don't have to feel guilty. We don't have to feel bad about ourselves. It's just the nature. So I want to talk about how we interact with the world through a story about Fenwick Holmes. So Ernest and Fenwick Holmes, really Ernest Holmes is considered the founder of the centers of spiritual living, religious science, science of mind, all those things. I guess he called it science of mind. All this other stuff came after him. He was born, Ernest was the 8th of 8 boys, born in a farm in northern Maine. Fenwick was the 5th of 8 boys. And I talk about, they're really sort of paired together in a lot of ways. Fenwick was a big leader. Through their childhood, early in their childhood, they lost their farm and had to move to Bethel, Maine, which coincidentally is where Phineas Parkhurst Quimby used to live. So it's interesting. Does anybody know Phineas Parkhurst Quimby? Some people. I'll tell you, for the people who don't know, Phineas Parkhurst Quimby is credited with being the first person to bring spiritual healing sort of in an organized and systematic fashion to the United States. He saw Anton Mesmer was doing great work with it in France, and Quimby brought it to the United States. Quimby actually healed and had as a student Mary Baker Eddy, who founded Christian Science, where it really took off. But Quimby and Ernest Holmes both grew up in Bethel, Maine, so we don't know if there's something about the water. But there it is. After growing up there, Fenwick Holmes ended up going to Colby College, which is a fantastic college, and he became a congregational minister. And congregationalism is one of those Protestant creeds where you get to decide in the church what you're going to believe. So Fenwick liked it. Fenwick and Ernest both became Christian scientists and Christian Science practitioners. Fenwick decided he was tired of the winters in Maine, and so he moved to Venice, California, where he founded a congregational church. And he ran it there for about 10 years. And once it started going, he invited his brother Ernest and his mother to move out, and Dad. They all moved out to Venice, California, and helped him run the church. Ernest was running the youth ministry, while Fenwick was giving the sermons. Fenwick was generally considered the more intellectual, and Ernest the more charismatic of the two. Well, Fenwick was going on a tour of the United States, a lecture tour, and in one of the lectures in 1926, a young man came up to him and said, "What am I supposed to do with my life? I don't know what to do." And Fenwick said, "Make a list of all the things that you like." And so he made a list, but at the very top of the list, in big letters, it said, myth. And he said, how do I make a life of myth or mythology? How does this make sense? Well, that man was Joseph Campbell, who was famous for the hero with 1,000 faces, and he really brought the hero myth and the hero archetypes into popular, really into our consciousness, into the world consciousness, especially in the United States. It helped that both Fenwick, Ernest, and Joseph Campbell were all Jungians, because Jung loves the archetypes and loves the idea that we can all, as part of our collective consciousness, we have the hero archetype, the hero myth. And more than that, George Lucas, when he was making Star Wars, had just read The Hero with 1,000 Faces and spent a lot of time. He brought on Joseph Campbell as a consultant to all the Star Wars films to make sure that they were doing the archetypes right. And so the whole Star Wars phenomena, I think, was driven by a hero's journey and by the archetypes, and it helped solidify those in the culture. And all this because Fenwick was doing a lecture tour, And some young man said, what am I supposed to do in my life? So this is like a gentle giant. He wasn't expecting to accomplish that, and yet amazing things happened. Some of them, after his death. The next, actually, I have another technology, story, and this one is about. Here it is. It is a dog. So it's a police dog, and this actually happened this week. And it was Massachusetts State Police Trooper John Ragosa and his dog Roscoe were called to a house in Barnstable, Massachusetts, where an armed suspect had barricaded himself inside. The pair had cleared the top 2 floors of the house and most of the basement when the subject came out of a bedroom, knocked the dog over, and ran upstairs. The dog jumped up and gave chase before the suspect shot him 3 times. Roscoe, a robot dog, couldn't follow. But they had 2 other robots, PackBot 512, 510 robots, which are bomb disposal robots. They're like, most of them is like flat on the ground and armored and has tank treads that go, and then it has a little neck that reaches up and looks around like a giraffe with on tank treads. And those robots came, and he shot, but he missed because the head's so skinny, it's hard to hit. And they sort of got him barricaded in a room, and then eventually the SWAT team talked him down out of it. But this robot dog, the fact that they have robot dogs that can be police dogs, means that dog no doubt saved an actual dog from getting shot and probably killed, and maybe an officer from getting injured in the same way. And so this is another way. Fish doorbells and robot dogs can help us. I mean, I wish we lived in a world where people weren't shooting at robot dogs. But it's nice that we have robot dogs for them to shoot at, so we can keep society safer without having dogs have to risk their lives. So I want to talk about self-compassion. That's a second step. So the first step for being gentleness, for showing our gentleness, is to be easy on ourselves, because we're human, and but recognize our divine nature. Self-compassion, Dr. Kristen Neff from University of Austin, Texas, talks about it, and there are 3 steps to it. One is mindfulness, being mindful in the moment to what's actually going on instead of what you're afraid is going on. And the second is kindness, being kind to, just coming with an attitude of kindness towards yourself and to others. And the third is recognizing common humanity, that humans are imperfect. We can imagine what we're supposed to do, we can imagine what we wish we'd done, but in fact, we did what we did, and we are who we are. and we can be kind, we can accept it, we can be mindful, we can try to be the best we can. We can bring all the God in us, the perfection of God and the perfection of ourselves into this moment, but recognizing our common humanity. And I should say, when I talk about the perfection of God and the perfection of ourselves, perfect has 2 definitions if you look it up in the dictionary. One talks about being completely flawless and nothing could be improved. It's definition number 2 that we want. Definition 2 is that perfect encompasses the whole thing. A perfect circle is an entire circle. And this is because we perfect because we are part of God, and that God is part of us, we are part of God. We are that, and that is part of all of us. It's part of all of creation. It's part of all of the universe. It's part of all of the multiverse. So that's what's perfect, is it's all-encompassing. The big mystery, the big expanse of God, that's all us. That's what we mean when we're perfect. Not that, we wouldn't like to lose a few pounds, or we wish there weren't gunmen shooting at robots in Massachusetts, or we wish all the wars in the world would stop. We're not claiming that that's perfect. What we're saying is we're all-encompassing, and that everybody has access to that power and that presence. So my second Holmes family member is Ernest, who was the cute one, who was the charismatic one. So Fenwick was brainy, Ernest was charismatic. Like all the family members, Ernest Holmes became an avid reader. He loved mythology and read translations of the Iliad and the Odyssey and the last days of Pompeii. Even at an early age, he loved poetry. He memorized Longfellow's Evangeline. He also memorized Hiawatha, and he used to do dramatic recitals of Hiawatha by the shores of Gitche-Gumee. See, I should have written that down. But here is what he said. He was 6 years old when he recited as such. You'd scarce expect one of my age to speak in public on the stage. And if I chanced to fall below Demosthenes and Cicero, don't view me with a critic's eye, but pass my imperfections by. So this is 6-year-old Ernest. And he's really demonstrating self-compassion. He's there, he's present, giving the presentation. But he's saying, be kind to me because I'm only human. Demosthenes and Cicero were famed orators of thousands of years ago. I'm not going to be that good. But you can appreciate what I am. I'm not a Demosthenes. I don't even speak Greek or Latin. So that's earnest and self-compassion. The last element, so we've got self-compassion and we've got accepting yourself. Show yourself some gratitude and love. We talk about the power of gratitude, but I think I love to be grateful for myself. I look at the situation I've gotten myself into. I'm like, hey, I'm glad I took those classes. When I'm doing yoga, I'm saying I'm glad that I've been practicing yoga for so many years because look, it works in my life. I can look at my bookshelf and I can be grateful that I got these particular books where I learned particular things. We can learn to be grateful and love not just our lives, not just our friends, not just our congregation and our companions and our community. We can be grateful for ourselves and for our community. I mean, it's very cool. It's not perfect, but it is doing the best it can, and it's pretty good. Hazel Foster was Ernest Holmes' wife. And she was a famous opera singer. They got married right after Ernest Holmes wrote The Science of Mind, his most famous book. He finished that in 1926, and they got married in 1927. And she was part of the secret of success because she showed Ernest how to really appreciate himself. She just thought he was the coolest guy around. And as an opera star in Hollywood and Los Angeles, she knew everyone who was everyone. And so she showed them, this is how she is how Science of Mind got to be the religion of the stars. She was friends with Esther Williams, who is the Olympic gold medal winner who was always swimming, doing choreographed swimming in her movies. She was friends with Robert Young, who played in Father Knows Best when I was a child. She was friends with Cary Grant. She was friends with, Jack LaLanne. It's funny, I was thinking about, how many of you saw Jack LaLanne ever? He is like, when I hear that he's the Science of Mind guy, I'm like, yeah, if anybody is, it's Energizer Bunny Jack LaLanne. And I've got his juicer at home. So all of this because Hazel really brought to Charles and Science of Mind the knowledge of how great they were and the connections to show other important, very cool people how great it was. And I think we can do this for ourselves. You know, not everybody can marry, you know, the most famous opera singer in Hollywood, but we can all be our own advocate. We can appreciate ourselves. We can appreciate our human selves. We can appreciate our spiritual selves. And so this is, my last text story. It's BAFTA. So I'm going to start off because BAFTA is the British Association of Film and Television Awards. And they give the British Oscars for films. They give the British Emmys for TV. I don't know if they give the British Tonys for stage. But they've been giving since 2004 a video game award. And this year it went to an organization called Special Effects. And what Special Effects does is it takes video games and it makes it so differently abled people can use them. What they do is they take the hardware and they hack into the controller. They talked about two things they did. They made a foot controller so that if there's something wrong with your arms that you can't use the controller, you can control the video game with your foot. And they also have an eye controller. So if all you have to control the video game is where you look, these devices keep track of where you look, and you can operate the video game with your eyes. And they used to have to hack into the hardware in order to attach their devices. But now Logitech, Microsoft, and Sony have made standard interfaces for their devices, so it makes it easy for people to take these things so that you can control it with your eyes and you can control it with your feet. And you know, I think this is like curb cuts. It's not just useful for the differently abled. I think it will end up being useful for all of us, being able to control the computer with our eyes. I just want to read what one person said. This is Danny Brennan, and her hand weakness had become a barrier to holding a controller. I may not be able to leave my room or bed physically, but through games I can do and be whatever I want. I can now explore new worlds, fly through space, or drive fast cars. I can also do more mundane tasks that are no longer accessible to me in real life, such as cooking, organizing cupboards, or washing laundry. In games, my illness doesn't exist. Special Effect has massively improved my quality of life. I thought I'd lost my favorite hobby, and with it, some of my connection to the outside world. Thanks to them, I have it back. And I think it's so cool that they got in touch, you know, with the companies, with Microsoft, Sony, and Logitech. I'm sure other companies will do it too, because everybody's response when you tell them about this is, that's so cool, how do I help? When I was at Microsoft, I used to work with the guy who was involved with, you know, making Microsoft Windows more available to the differently abled. And it was nice because it wasn't strategic, but it was something every single engineer wanted to do. And so you just had all the engineers who were willing to do whatever it took to make it happen. And they came up with, you know, ways to to make it more standardized. And it's nice we're doing it with video games, and it's nice we're doing it with eye movement, that you can control it with your eyes. I know there's another interface where you can control it with your brain. They've done that with chimpanzees, but that's not up to human studies yet. So, but eyes are pretty good. Did anybody see the movie The Butterfly and the Diving Bell? The Diving Bell and the Butterfly? It's a story of a gentleman in France. He was like very rich and successful man. He had a fashion empire and a magazine empire. He drove fast cars. He had lots of girlfriends and was very successful. I think he was even, I don't know if he was engaged to get married, but he had an auto accident, and when he woke up in the hospital, he couldn't control his body below his eyes. And he wrote a best-selling novel in France called The Diving Bell and the Butterfly that they made into a movie. And it seems like a movie about somebody who now can only, their eyes and ears are the ways they communicate with the world. It's uplifting because you find that, we are more than this body. We are more than that. We can connect. You could see the power of love. You could see the power of determination. You could see that this guy's anterior mid-cortex was exercised. He could do hard things, and he got good at doing hard things. And, how many of us can do, of course, this is the guy. He grows up, he has this fashion empire, drives fast cars, and then when he's in bed and can't move or talk, he writes a best-selling book. This is the guy. So, and so I thought of him because think of how he could have used this. He would have really enjoyed this eye movement video game thing. He actually died about 20 years ago, but future people will be able to take advantage of that. So what I want us to remember is be who you are. Fenwick Holmes, Joseph Campbell, and George Lucas show us the power of being who you are, being open, being vulnerable. Joseph Campbell was vulnerable enough to say, what do I do with my life? And Fenwick knew enough to say, make a list of the things that you'd like to do. Have self-compassion like 6-year-old Ernest Holmes. When you give presentations, know the audience views you with eyes of love, with eyes of kindness. We're all compassionate, we're all gentle giants. And be grateful and loving to yourself, like Hazel Foster, Ernest Holmes' opera singer wife. We can be grateful and loving to ourselves, and this will help other people appreciate how cool we are. As an engineer, I was always when I was an engineering manager, I was always encouraging my engineers to make sure that I knew how cool they were, so I could so I could brag about them, so I could promote them, so I could find them, the best and highest selves, the best and highest positions in the organization. So we've got a different, affirmation today. It's funny, actually. There was the affirmation I was supposed to do, and then I dreamed about a completely different affirmation. And I wanted to do that, but this is the one we're going to do. So let's actually put this away so it won't confuse us. I let my gentleness reveal my giant self. So together, I let my gentleness reveal my giant self. I let my gentleness reveal my giant self. And so that's us. We all have giant selves, and we all can be as gentle as we let ourselves be. Not meek, but compassionate, joyous, and powerfully gentle, walking in the world as a giant. So we know that divine spirit is gentle. We know it's large, it's kind, and we see the compassion and feel the compassion, ease, and grace of the world. And we are that. We are that ease, that grace, that gentleness, and we let that gentleness reveal our giant selves. And we are grateful for our giant selves and for our gentleness, and we release and let it go because we know spiritual law gives this to us. Spiritual law knows that this is at our core. We are gentle at our core. We are compassionate. We are kind. We are loving, and we are infinitely powerful and aware. So thank you. And now we're going to have some prayer music. We're going to look at everybody should have a prayer card on their seat. And the first thing I want to encourage you to do is look at my prayer demonstration, which is on one side. And when you write down your demonstration, this is another way you exercise your brain. Every time you write down a demonstration, that makes your prayers more powerful and more able to manifest and demonstrate what you truly want, what you truly pray for. And then after your demonstration, you can write down a prayer. You can pray for yourself. You can pray for the world. The important thing is to know that these prayers have the power of our practitioner core. They have the power of the centers, all the centers of spiritual living going through them. And we bring this powers of the universe to manifest these prayers. And so as big as you can imagine, as big as you can dream, that's how big you can pray. You can pray for something you no longer have. You can pray for something you'd like to have. You can pray for something that you know you have, and you just want to affirm it. A prayer of gratitude, a prayer of anything you want. So, thank you.
It's me? Okay. It's good to know. All right, this is great. No, I thought the service made me think I would turn something that maybe you've heard a few times on its head, but how could anyone ever tell you you're anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you're less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. And how could anyone ever tell me I'm anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell me I'm less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice my loving is a miracle? How deeply we're connected. Oh, we're connected. The greatest work in all my life is loving me. The greatest work in all my life is loving me. I want to love me more. greatest work in all my life is being gentle and kind and compassionate with myself. The greatest work is loving me.
Wow, that was fantastic. Thank you so much. So right now we'll move into our offering part of our segment. And we'll remember that our center is supported by God, and we welcome you to be a part of how God's support shows up. If you're on Facebook, you can visit our website at genesiscsl.org, or you can tithe to 206-800-7595. Let's just take a moment and craft our financial gift. Offerings to our heart as we say our offering blessing. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, on all that I receive, and I am thankful. And now Gideon will go around and collect the offering as we sing, God is my source.
My source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need.
Get them all in there. There we go. Good timing. So with open hearts, we receive these gifts, knowing the fruits come forth to do powerful works. We bless the givers, knowing that as we give, we receive tenfold. In deep gratitude, we give thanks. And so it is. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us today. Join us after service for food and fellowship. We all will wish you a week filled with joy, fun, and connection. Let's stand and sing our closing song, I Release. Take it away, Becca.
I'm only here for God.
Have a great week, everyone.